I don't care how late you stay out. Stay out as late as you want. You want to borrow the new car? You want to borrow my credit card? Kids today, they really have it rough.
I have no idea where we are or where we're going.
I mean, when I was their age, life was easy, super easy. Why haven't you gotten a tattoo yet? How come you don't have any piercings yet?
Yep, we're lost. We are completely lost.
Ooh, sports.
Just do whatever the mechanic says to do.
Vehicle maintenance is completely overrated.
Look, whatever the mechanic is asking, just pay him. Pay him whatever he wants.
I wish they had soap operas at night. I like that boy. You should date him. You should date him immediately.
Well, what about the creepy guy with the motorcycle? He's cute.
Yeah, sure. Spring break in Tahiti sounds fun. Hey, make sure you get all your video games done before you start your homework. You don't have to pass all your classes.
What? You have a project due tomorrow and you've known about it for 4 weeks and you haven't started yet? Sweet!
Doesn't anybody want to know if we're there yet?
Remember, if you need anything between midnight and 4 a.m., please come wake me up. Hey, I'm on the phone. Could you bring the baby over and let him climb all over me?
Hey! Hey, can you please turn that music up?
Well, we just stopped for lunch 10 minutes ago, but yeah, let's stop again. I never have trouble with my toddler.
I never have trouble with my teenagers.
I never have trouble with my adult children.
You know, she's right. We are ruining her life.
Yes! More homework to correct!
All right, whining.
Yay! Tantrums!
Vomit.
We just really need to spoil these kids more.
Sorry, buddy. I don't know any good jokes at all. You're 16. You pretty much know everything now. I think 18's a great age to get married.
Okay, remember, make sure you turn on all the lights before you leave the house.
Hey, could you leave the front door open for a couple hours? Thanks.
Whoa! Money really does grow on trees.
Good morning, church, and happy Father's Day. We're so excited that you've joined us this morning. Hey, just wanted to do a quick intro here. As you can see, I'm at our new live streaming headquarters. Technically, this moves along with us every Sunday, but we're looking forward to getting this ministry started once we get back to Windsor Charter Academy. Anyway, it's Father's Day, and we're going to kick off worship this morning with Caleb and Andrew one more time at the Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada. Take it away, Andrew and Caleb.
There is no other name but the name that is Jesus. He who was and still is and will be through it all. So come on, lay in the space between all the things unseen and this reckoning. I know I'll never be alone. I know I'll never be alone. There'll be another in the fight, standing next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding, how could you be to me? I count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. And I can see the light in the darkness, as the darkness bows to him. I can hear the roar in the heavens, as the space between waves them. I can feel the ground shake beneath us, as the prison walls came in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between. There'll be another in the fight, standing next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding, how could you be to me? I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. so great, Jesus in all things. I've seen a glimpse of your heart a billion years. Still I'll be singing. How can I praise you enough? How can I praise you enough? You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. Creation calls all to the Savior. We are alive in your praise, in earth and sky. No love is higher. Our God of wonders you reign. Our God of wonders you reign. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. Not to us, but to your name, we lift up all praise. Not to us, but to your name, we lift up all praise. Not to us, but to your name, we lift up all praise. Not to us, but to your name, we lift up all praise. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares.
Life is always fair. I really enjoy repeating myself over and over again. I just love when the kids talk back to me. I don't care if you get a job this summer. I don't care if you get detention. I can't open this jar. See if Mom can open it. Just take your time in there, okay? No means maybe. Hey, why don't you bring that ball inside and play with it? Hey, don't put that back where you found it. Just leave it on the floor. Ew, bacon. If you put a dent in the car, it's really no big deal. It's 10 a.m. Go back to bed. Look, whatever your friends are doing, just do the exact same thing. I got more than enough sleep last night. If your friends are okay with it, then I'm okay with it. Stop signs are just a suggestion. You don't need a chaperone. You don't need a seatbelt. You don't need a savings account. You should buy the jeans with the holes in them. Hey, we're all gonna go to church, but you can just sleep in, okay? Can we please just hang out in here for another 10 minutes? Hey, can we get some more bickering back there? All right, bills. Yay, traffic. Woohoo, taxes. Yes, laundry. Hey, can you kids come in here and jump on my bed? Quick, go tell Mom what happened right away. You don't need to finish your dinner. Hey, look at your phone when I'm talking to you. I wish I had a smaller TV. We got you that phone for a reason. Texting boys. All right, everyone, listen up. Mom and I are going out of town this weekend, so please, mess up the whole house while we're gone. Please throw a few parties while we're gone. Please forget about the dog entirely while we're gone. Hey, when you're finished pouring that, can you just leave it out on the counter all day? Thanks. I'm gonna bungee jump out of this tree.
That's a really good idea.
Good morning, church. It is good to be with you. Before we begin, we just want to tell our fathers happy Father's Day. Hopefully you will be celebrated and honored today. Dad, if you are watching, I want to tell everyone who is watching, including you, happy Father's Day. I love you, old man. Proud to be your son. And I will call you later today to wish you a happy Father's Day, so make sure your cell phone is on. Today we're going to continue our series called Flyover, touching down on the minor prophets. And over the last 4 weeks, we've done an introduction, and then we've had each of the staff speak into a minor prophet of their choice, and they've done an amazing job. Olivia spoke about Jonah. We had Aaron talk about Habakkuk last week, and then 2 weeks ago, we had Caleb speak into the minor prophet Hosea. And this week, we are going to look at the minor prophet called Obadiah. Now, Obadiah is the shortest book in the Old Testament. It is one chapter and only 21 verses. And what makes this minor prophet unique to all the prophets is this prophet doesn't speak to the nation of Israel on God's behalf. What this prophet does, he speaks to the nation of Edom. It's actually an enemy of the nation of Israel. And so that's what makes this really unique. What makes this service unique today is we're going to do something different. I am not going to be preaching and teaching to you today. One of the things that our culture is accustomed to is someone standing either in a service, live preaching, or in this case, in front of a camera, teaching you about a text or a book overview like we've been doing in this series. But today we're going to do what's called a discovery series. Now, if you're a member of Traverse, we do this 2 or 3 times a year where we get together in service around tables, and we want you to discover Scripture for yourself. One of the greatest ways for you to learn Scripture is for you to engage the Scriptures on your own, or in this case, in a group as we're in our home churches in the month of June. So what we're going to have you do is we're going to show an overview video here in just a moment. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's going to help you understand this book a little bit better. And then we're going to have you do the following things. At our discovery services, we have you read through the text in a couple of different versions, maybe the NLT, NIV, or ESV. Read it a couple of times. And then have one person in your group that is with you this morning, have them just basically just give an overview. Hey, what did we just read? And just recap it. And then if there's any gaps that need to be filled in, have the group come in and fill in some of the details that might have been missed by someone just giving a summary of what you just read. And then we want you to engage in the questions that are listed below. Here are the 4 questions. Question number 1 is, what drew your attention to this passage? Number 2, what did you like and what bothered you about this passage? Number 3, what does this passage say about God and about mankind? And number 4 is, what does this passage say about the life that God desires for you now? Over these next few moments, we want you to sit back, relax, enjoy this 5-minute overview video that we're going to show you about Obadiah. And then we want you to engage with one another with these questions and spending time as you discover Obadiah.
The book of the prophet Obadiah. This is the shortest book in the whole Old Testament. It's a mere 21 verses. And at first glance, it does not look very promising. It's a series of divine judgment poems against the ancient people of Edom, which was a nation that neighbored Israel on the other side of the Dead Sea. However, there is way, way more going on here. So, first, here's the backstory. The people of Edom were unique because they had a shared ancestry with the Israelites. They both belonged to the family of Abraham, who, with Sarah, had their son Isaac, who, with his wife Rebekah, had 2 sons, Jacob and Esau. Now, the book of Genesis told us the story of these 2 brothers, and to say the very least, they had a tense relationship. They each later received the names Israel and Edom, which eventually became the name of the families that descended from them. And these families replayed the same difficult relationship of their ancestors. Israel and Edom had enormous tensions throughout the centuries, but they still shared that family bond. And it's that bond that was betrayed and shattered in the tragic events of Jerusalem's fall to Babylon. So when Israel was invaded and conquered by Babylon, the people of Edom took advantage by plundering other Israelite cities and then capturing and even killing Israelite refugees. Now, in other prophetic books, God held Israel's neighbors accountable for this kind of violence. And so here, Obadiah does the same for Edom. The short book has two halves. The first part is a series of accusations against the leaders of Edom, specifically for their pride and self-exaltation. Literally, as they lived up high in the desert rocks, but also metaphorically, they truly believed they were superior to the Israelites. And it's that pride that led the Edomites to not just stand idly by when Babylon came to destroy Jerusalem, but actually to participate in the destruction. And so God says through Obadiah that Edom will be brought down from their height and destroyed. As they have done to Israel, so it will be done to them. Now, right when you think you're going to hear more about how Edom will meet its doom, the topic suddenly shifts in verse 15. We hear this: "The day of the Lord is near against all nations." Now, why do we all of a sudden shift from Edom now to all nations? This verse is a hinge piece, and it links the first half of the book to the second half, where Obadiah announces the day of the Lord, but not only for Edom. He widens his focus to include all nations. And Obadiah says that all prideful nations that act like Edom will face God's justice in the same way. They'll fall from their prideful heights and come to ruin. Now, the combination of these two sections, one about Edom, the other about all nations, shows us why Obadiah was so interested in this tiny southern neighbor of Israel. Obadiah sees Edom's pride and fall as an example, an image of how God will one day confront the pride of all nations and bring about their fall too. It's hardly coincidental that in Hebrew, the word Edom, or Edom, is spelled with the exact same letters as the word humanity, or in Hebrew, Adam. In Obadiah, Edom's rise and fall is a parable of how God's justice will one day oppose pride and violence among all nations in the day of the Lord. But as in all the prophets, God's judgment is never his final word. Specifically, remember the conclusion of the two books that came right before Obadiah, Joel and Amos. Joel had painted a picture of what will happen after the day of the Lord against all nations. He said that God would perform a new act of salvation in Jerusalem, and that all who humbled themselves and called upon him would be delivered. And in the conclusion of Amos, he said that after the day of the Lord has judged Israel's evil, God would raise up the house of David and build a new kingdom for Israel that would include Edom and all the nations called by my name. And so the book of Obadiah has been placed right after Joel and then Amos to expand on these very promises about the hope of God's kingdom over all of the nations. And so the book concludes with a very hopeful future. God says he's going to restore his kingdom over the New Jerusalem, that he'll repopulate it with a faithful remnant. And then from there, God's kingdom will expand to include all the territory and nations around Israel. And so this little book contributes to the larger portrait of God's justice and faithfulness that we're seeing in the prophets. The ancient pride and betrayal of the people of Edom becomes an example of the greater human condition, all of the ways that we betray and hurt each other in God's good world. But there's hope, Obadiah says. Edom's downfall points to the day when God will deal with evil in our world, but also bring his healing kingdom of peace over all the nations. And that's what the book of Obadiah is all about.
And just like that, live streaming is that easy. Who wants to join me here? Thank you, Patrick, for running us through Obadiah. Folks, I hope you got a chance to go through all 4 of those questions today, and that in your small groups, in your home churches, or even with your own family, that you were able to really discover the prophet of Obadiah. Now we've got some announcements. First one I want to say is in our time of giving this morning, we've got 3 ways to give. You can mail a check to P.O. Box 398 in Windsor, Colorado. You can give through the Church Center app, just find Traverse. And then the third way is via our website, where you can set up auto pay. You can set up however you'd like to do it through our website. Next up, I would like to introduce you again one last time to our live streaming ministries. They are coming soon. What Caleb and I would like to do is that we'd like to challenge first any of our students out there, high school, middle school students. If you have any interest in technology, computers, cameras, photography, we would love to talk to you and have you sign up for this. Number 2 is families. If you'd like to serve in our live stream ministry, we're really looking for 8 people, which would mean that you'd be serving one Sunday every other month. And so not a huge commitment on your part, but we'd love to invite you in to learn about our new system here, stuff that I'm still learning myself, but we'd love to train everybody at the same time. So when we do go live on July 5th, we will have a system ready to go for those who choose to stay at home still, or for the rest of the community that we may reach. So please contact Caleb, Caleb at traversechristian.com, or myself, Aaron at traversechristian.com, and we'll get you signed up for the live stream team. All right, 2 last things. July 5th is our first Sunday back. We are going to have regular in-person services on July 5th. What this means is that we'll meet at Windsor Charter Academy. We'll be set up just like we would on a normal Sunday, and we expect it to be kind of a softer launch. So if you'd like to join us, please join us on that Sunday. And then our big kickoff party for summer, we are going to have take place on July 12th in the Windsor Charter Academy parking lot. That is our tailgate party. Come for a great time. We've rented a big bandstand trailer, and we're going to have a lot of worship, good food, and just good time seeing each other again. Distanced, of course. Anyway, with that, I guess I'll say one more thing. Student camps. High school camp is July 6th through the 10th. This year, it's only a Monday through a Friday. Everybody should be signed up by now. If you didn't and you just changed your mind and you want to go, please let me know ASAP, as we are planning for sponsors and transportation. So I need to know that as soon as possible. Middle school camp is the 13th through the 17th. And so we look forward to taking your students those 2 weeks in July. All right, church, happy Father's Day. I love you, Dad, and we'll see you July 5th in person. Come back next week for the conclusion to our flyover series when Patrick speaks about Malachi, and find out why God goes silent for 400 years at the end of that book. See you later.